Audio and video on.
And if ever you need recess or anything like that, just let us know.
Thank you.
Yeah, at any point.
Thank you so much.
All right. Everybody ready? Oh, there. That's it. Yep. Okay. All right.
Have public comments? Okay, I'll check you out.
I have it here, so that's a yes for
Mr. Gilmore.
Mr. Gilmore.
Yeah.
All right, he said. We will call this Yamhill City Council meeting Wednesday, April 8th, 2026, call to order at 6:32. Can we get a roll call, please?
Kent here.
Asking here.
Karen here.
Corrigan here, and Councilor Featherston may be attending by Zoom. She was unable to attend with a work schedule today.
We have Featherston online.
Featherston's online. She would like to indicate that she's here. That would be cool. Assuming yes.
She had her hand raised, but she is working, so she may not be able to answer all.
Understood. In that case, we'll move on to the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. So agenda updates or additions? Angie, do we have any from your side?
I just have a couple of additions. We did not have the financials at the time. I sent out the packet. That's because the financial, the manager was on vacation. So those are now have been provided to the council. And I do have a copy here that I can, show to the public, after the meeting if they want to look at those over. And then also I added a special event for Beverly Cleary Days. I think you wanted to add that to the consent agenda.
Unless council has objection to that, the folks from Beverly Cleary Days, they had their event last year at Jane Heinrich Park, which I checked today with Jason, went off perfectly well last year. They will be adding porta potties this year. And normally you have to come and make your spiel to council in order to reserve for an event like that. But we could just put that in the consent agenda as it's the same as last year, unless somebody had a question, comment, or concern. She could do a report. Hearing no objections, we'll add that to the consent agenda for today. You're welcome to stay and speak at your allotted time if you would like to tell us more about Beverly Cleary Days. But there would be no need to give a presentation to request the time in the park, as we'll just put that in under our consent agenda for today.
Okay, I'll just speak quickly just about the date.
This would not be the time to.
It would be a little bit later in the meeting, but
Oh, perfect.
Thank you, Angie.
so with that being added, we would move on now to item number 4, which is the committee report, the CLG Historic District information. We have a presentation tonight from our city planner, Walt Windolowski, who is online with us. Go ahead, Mr. Windolowski, and thank you for coming tonight.
Okay, gracious good evening. Beautiful day. I'm hoping we're going to be Curry Gill from SHPO, State Historic. Yep, here she is. Wouldn't you know it? Okay, real good. The city is interested in putting together a historical program. And just for the record, the Historical Preservation Office administers a program called a Certified Local Program and definitely encourages local historic efforts. Just briefly, this program requires the establishment of a Historic Preservation Commission with certain qualified individuals. You have to pass a preservation ordinance. agree to participate in updating and expanding the Historic Building Inventory Program, agree to review and comment on National Register of Historic Places nomination, and also affirm that you will fulfill your obligations in enforcing state historic requirements. Cargill of SHPO, in our discussion, she indicated that this is not a simple process. It does take a little bit of work, and it really begins with a formal commission organization, a bit of a survey on your historic area, and also adoption ordinance. You have a memo from me in your packet, and it just included some questions that I posed to the Planning Commission when I brought this before them in March. I'm just kind of pointing these out as maybe a basis for discussion this evening. The commission did look at this material at their March meeting. They were concerned, they did voice a concern whether or not there would be qualified individuals to really be part of this. I think there's about 4 or 5 categories that are identified, and there was just concern with finding volunteers. Also, the commission recognized and really thought it very important that we have local property owner support for this sort of a program. So basically, everyone's on board. While voicing these concerns, the commission does support efforts to proceed and suggest the council at least explore the next steps with SHPO. In other words, let's take a first step. They thought that would be certainly beneficial for the community. And even if nothing much happens going forward now, I think it's going to generate local interest in the city's history. And I think provides some other opportunities for the community as well. As I know, this evening, Carrie Gill is here to provide a lot more information than I can ever think of providing. I always like to note when I meet these individuals that they have forgotten more than I'll ever know. And she was a very helpful person to chat with. So I'd like to turn the presentation over to her, give you some additional information. And I think we're here certainly to answer questions and help whichever way you want to go.
All right, thank you very much. I'm Curry Gill. I'm with the State Historic Preservation Office. Our office is based in Salem, Oregon. Thanks for having me this evening, and thanks for your consideration of exploring a program that can help your community embrace its historic character and engage the broader community in valuing that historic character and hopefully preserving some of that as you see fit. So I'm going to give a brief overview. I know you received a lot of information, but just to give you the context for this program. And I'm going to add a little bit of information about some of the work that we have seen folks use this program to enact. So the program is called Certified Local Government. It's not a great name. It's not really even helpful to tell you what it does, but it is a program of the National Park Service. So it's a federal program. All state historic preservation offices are required to have this program. In Oregon, we are really big fans because we really believe that local folks know better than anybody else what places are historic and significant and how to work with your community to preserve those places. So we put a lot of effort toward the technical assistance available with the program, and there is grant funding available with the program. In Oregon, we award to our certified local governments about 25% of the grant that we receive. We're required to award 10%. So we're kind of all in with this program. We do have the requirements that Walt mentioned. Those are the federal requirements. We only add a little bit of an additional requirement in Oregon that that commission that is created meets at least 4 times a year. And that's the only change that we have with the federal program. If anybody has experience with this in other states like Georgia and North Carolina, they have a lot more work to do to participate in the program. We want this program to be as accessible as possible, so we kept it to the basic federal requirements. What this program generally we see used for is first understanding what historic properties exist in a community, and then really trying to engage with the community to promote the value of those places for the community as a whole, for individuals living there, as assets for the community. That's the big thing. Beyond that, communities use it to list properties in the National Register of Historic Places or create historic districts. That can be either using the national programs or the local programs. So with this, you would create an ordinance that has a way to do local designation in addition to helping people do that National Register step. We also see communities celebrating Preservation Month, doing educational activities, developing walking tours, using smartphone tours, collecting the history, the photos of the historic places and making them accessible. And I know that Yamhill participates in Oregon Main Street. Oregon Main Street and the Certified Local Government Program pair very nicely together. They can provide design assistance for properties in the Main Street District designation, again, which can help those properties access federal tax incentive programs and grant programs. So we see these programs work really closely together, and you have a really nice active Main Street organization in Yamhill right now. I do want to clarify, so having a certified local government does not automatically create regulation. Requires property owner consent. So this program not necessarily ever do any designation. It can be part of the process, but solely participating in the CLG program does not trigger any design review. That can come later if the commission chooses to designate any properties locally. So I just want to make that clear. To answer questions about designations if you want to go down that road, but that is a separate piece. So that's the big picture of the program. I'm happy to answer any questions, or Walt, if you had anything particular you wanted me to point out, I'm happy to do that.
I would say, first of all, thank you for the clarification. I know the Planning Commission was kind of interested in potential impacts for the property owners and business owners. So it sounds as this is, I don't use the word superficial, but basically it's looking at it from 30,000 feet, looking at the bigger picture, and over time we can start refining it if we decide to proceed. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yes, and you can use the resources from this program to have those community conversations, to do the research, to see what that would be like, help people understand what it means, and then if you choose to go forward with that, you can.
Okay, I guess my one question, and I hope I'm not, preceding the city council on this, but if they decide, just for my own interest, what would our next step be?
So the next step really would be to work on that ordinance, which would create the survey and inventory process, the designation, the local designation process, the commission and their role. And then after that is set, and we can help with that. I saw that you had the model ordinance, which looks complicated in your packet, but there are pieces that you can break out. Once that is in place, then the appointment of the commissioners would need to happen. And then with all of that, we can move that forward with to the National Park Service for their approval. And we can help with all of those steps.
I have a question. So with the qualifications being as structured as they are, does the commission participants need to reside in the city of Yamhill, or can they be outside in whatever city that's close?
You get to choose that as a community. We always recommend the majority probably should live in the community, but that's completely up to you. And actually, that reminds me, one of the concerns that the Planning Commission had was about finding people who meet the requirements, who are also willing to volunteer. So the goal is that you will try to find those folks. So when you do outreach, you would reach out to associations and organizations and try to get the people with those qualifications. But the real qualification is interest in promoting the preservation of historic places in the community. And we can help train people to do the work. So in most communities, we are coming to help explain how survey works, help explain how designation works. If you end up having design review, we can coach on what the standards are. So we can help people get there if you don't have a group full of professional historians or architects. Contractors know a ton. You might be surprised and find that you do have some of these folks in your community who live there and might work elsewhere or work remotely. But we have 54 CLGs in the state right now. And I would say 3 of those have a commission that's filled with all the people that meet those qualifications. So most of them don't have all of those folks, and we just help train.
Thank you.
I do think that was the major concern, was just the list of qualifications that would have to be on the board of the committee. So if that's something that you can help us with, I think that alleviates a lot of the concerns there.
I do have one other question. This does not have to be part of a land use ordinance. This can be a freestanding ordinance. There's no reason for it to be part of a planning requirement, correct?
So we typically see the inventory and the designation in a planning section, but we have also seen these as a standalone. So again, it kind of depends on how your community wants to manage it. Some communities are breaking everything up, so like all of their commissions are in one ordinance, and then all the building treatment stuff is in a different one. So
Thank you.
And what about, what would so if we added a committee like this, how would that affect staff's capacity? Sounds like a lot of extra work to put on.
Yeah, so, and Walt, and, you know, Curry, please feel free to jump in if this is not right. But we currently have a pretty sort of energetic economic development committee who are downtown being very small. I think that at the beginning stages, that would be the likely commission or committee that could be just maybe added to their duties. I think that that was something that we were interested in. I also sit on that board. I think that was something that we would be interested in pursuing with you. But I don't know that we're at a point yet where we would create our own, or that could maybe then become a subcommittee of the economic development. Walt, what do you think on that?
I think that has potential because it also ties into sort of your downtown revitalization. In fact, I think they're all linked together if you really want to look at it. And I think that would make perfect sense. Understand once you do it one way doesn't mean you can't change it down the road as circumstances happen. I think Ms. Gill's comment of like, well, let's start with an ordinance. We could look at where we could place this. It could be a subset of the downtown, and I see economic development, because I believe the city has an ordinance and establish requirements for that, correct, Mayor?
The Central Business District overlay?
Yeah, well, not only that, I think you have a designated committee which you appoint, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I think that would tie in. I'd still like to do a little thinking about the details, but I think on the surface, I think it would certainly work. Absolutely.
Wonderful. So with that, we do have Jenny Morrison, who also sits on the Economic Development Committee. Does that sound, and since you are our chair, I think that would be appropriate to get your opinion on that before
Shall I
we
get it?
assign work.
Yeah.
Yeah, does council have any questions or concerns if that was the direction of travel to gain more information?
Not wrong.
Yeah, so I'll just add, so hi Curry, thanks for joining and hi Walt. Definitely, but this whole process, that's something that the EDC has been looking into as well, kind of separately, so it's great to align with Walt. So we've been doing our own research and investigation on what participating in the Council of Local Governments and then the Historic District route could be for the city. And it, in my mind, definitely aligns with, as I'm listening tonight, to what our objectives are on the Economic Development Committee. Also, I think we might have some crossover with, or I know we have crossover with the Yamhill Downtown Association, which is part of the Oregon Main Street. So I'm on both of those. I know we could get participants from both groups, and maybe if we could get somebody else, just a general person from the community to join this as well, I think we could have a really good cross-functional representation. So I think it fits with all of our goals.
Right, and then I think to Councilor Askey's concern, that's something we should address with our admin staff to make sure that we're not putting an unfair burden on them for extra meetings or anything. So maybe we can find a way to streamline those meetings where they can be one meeting with a focus. And if that works for you.
Yes.
And what do you think of that, Walt? Would you be able to potentially meet with our Economic Development Committee from time to time to move forward?
I really have no issue with that. You know, we could kind of work around the dates. I just see a lot of things happening that are beginning to sort of coalesce in the community. And just to add another little layer here, we're going to be starting a transportation system plan, which is going to be looking at obviously the downtown with some potential design elements. So it'd be real nice to have sort of kind of an understanding and sort of consensus from the community on what might work. And historical aspects are obviously one aspect of that. So It could work out very well. A lot of moving parts here, but I think I see things moving forward. How's that?
I think that's great. And then, Ms. Gill, would you be able to participate periodically as well in those meetings?
Yes, yeah.
And then, what likely would happen is we would probably reach out to you before the meetings. Some information we could gather, or maybe one of us can travel down to meet you in Salem. And then bring that information back for our meetings to not overly burden you either, but to make sure we have the right information to move forward.
Yes, absolutely. We want you to completely understand before you move forward. So it's great to bring more people to the room and ask all the questions you can.
We have more questions for them. Well, thank both of you. Is there anything else that you wanted to add, either of you, for this evening?
Well, I think what I would just request of the council to make sure we have things in writing. I could put a short memorandum together. I'm assuming at this point, and that's why I want to put it in writing, that you would like me to at least proceed with taking the model ordinance and putting it together for the council to consider. And if that's acceptable, I would be happy to proceed.
Is that something you would like us to vote on, or do we just ask to direct staff for that, Angie?
Yeah, I think you guys to just a consensus or a vote to go ahead and.
Can we talk about it a little bit more?
100%.
before we do that?
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather, whether it be now or a little bit later, after the fact, and then get back to Walt.
So for council to direct staff, that would have to happen during a council meeting, so we can't make decisions not in a
Okay.
council meeting. We have them here, so if you have
No,
questions or.
No, I don't have any
concerns?
questions for them. I'm just concerned about the time frame of all of this, you know, the length of time that it's gonna take to get all this done. Trying to find the people and, I mean, I don't know any other alternative way to go about it that would not be so time consuming. Do you all? Do you know, Jenny?
I think everything takes time, and that's what I've discovered just being on the Economic Development Committee and all of the things that we've been working towards. Everything takes a lot longer than you would wish, you know, hope it will, but that's to be thoughtful and to be thorough. And so I think that to at least start the process, I think to at least the next step to, you know, to investigate, I think that that is helpful, because if we mull it over further, then that will be then another month and then another month, and then we still don't have, I think just if we can continue to gather information and be prepared to go for it if we can, I think that's great, because again, the Economic Development Committee, we've had meetings on this. We just had not connected with Walt. And so we've been meeting with folks as well, exploring this, discussing it, and investigating the benefits. And so I think there's a lot of benefits to be had for getting more support, because we have a lot of great ideas here in Yamhill, but everything just is.
What? The grant that we wrote.
Oh,
Yeah, the grant that we wrote for the signs, which is kind of historic preservation.
all right, yeah, so we've got all these things like the YDA's been working on and the Economic Development Committee. And so I think it's just great timing to at least agree to take the next step. But that doesn't mean committing to anything, but if we have as far as like the committee to be the part of this, we have the Economic Development Committee. We are, and I was going to talk tonight about our priorities for the rest of the year and where we are. And so we're kind of like buttoning up things that we've been working on now. So we're poised and ready to take on something additional, and to have the structure and to have the ability to have this, you know, the assistance from the state, from the organization, to get some support, some grants, some other things that we need, I think it would be a missed opportunity. And I believe, you know, with all of this other stuff, so excited, I threw my glasses off my face with all the other communities that are doing this in the state, you know, with Amity, I believe is part of that. So we talked about that at our 2 meetings back, like they're moving forward. It doesn't mean we're locked in or there's money spent or, you know, things not happening that everybody doesn't agree on. I think it gives an opportunity to at least start, because we've been spinning our wheels for such a long time. I think it's really exciting to have this opportunity. So I'm all for, you know, again, our EDC, we're all volunteers. You guys are volunteers, you know, most of you, it's like, let's see some progress for all the work that we're putting in. Okay.
So Penny, what I think what we're asking for, and if anybody thinks differently than this, please correct. So I think what we're asking council for is to direct staff, Mr. Wendelowski, to look into the ordinance and what that would look like and say. And then to move this topic to the Economic Development Committee
And I'm fine.
for
with that.
exploratory purposes
Okay.
and to move forward. And then what will happen is, as they come up with plans, ideas, and thoughts and information, then all of that will come back to council. So none of that no decisions get made at the Economic Development Committee level. The recommendations do.
Okay. No, I'm good.
If
with
you're
that.
comfortable
Yeah,
there.
I'm good with that.
I'd entertain a motion to advance this to the Economic Development Committee.
Second the motion.
Make the motion.
No.
Tim wants to do it.
What are we?
So I'm looking for a motion to direct staff to create an ordinance for the historic district and to turn further research over to the Economic Development Committee, and that's as long as I can make it.
To move forward as per our discussion.
There you go.
Make a motion to move forward as per our discussion.
I second the motion.
Vote please.
Ken I.
Saskia,
Karen, I.
Bergen, aye. So that being unanimous, yes, thank you very much, Ms. Gill. We will be in contact very soon. And Mr. Wendelowski, thank you. We'll work on schedule for that next meeting and move forward with the Economic Development Committee on this. That's kind of very exciting, I think.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much for your time tonight, both of you.
Thank you.
Take care.
that's gonna be my go-to phrase from now on, Angie.
Yes, we need to write that down. Okay, with that all said, so he's working in the model ordinance, so proclamation time. Mr. Oski will be speaking on April being Child Abuse Awareness Month.
Okay, before the city council for the city of Yamhill, Oregon, a proclamation showing the city of Yamhill, Oregon's support of Child Abuse Prevention Month, April 2026. Proclamation, whereas child abuse is one of our nation's most serious public health problems, with scientific studies documenting the link between the abuse of children and a wide range of medical, emotional, psychological, and behavioral disorders. And whereas it is estimated that 1 in 4 children will suffer significant abuse before the age of 18, and in FFY 2025, over 176,000 contacts were made to the Oregon Child Abuse Hotline. A total of 45,868 received reports were assigned for CPS assessment. And of all completed CPS assessments, 7,797 were founded for abuse, involving 11,669 victims. And whereas the physical, emotional, mental, and physical impact of abuse falls on children of all ages and abilities, who come from all economic, racial, and social backgrounds, and these crimes affect many more family members, friends, neighbors, and communities. And whereas effective child abuse prevention efforts succeed because of partnerships created among state and local government agencies, school, diverse community groups, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community, while recognizing that feeling connected to community can be a protective factor against child abuse, and whereas the city of Yamhill is dedicated to stopping child abuse, supporting survivors and their non-offending families, and working to prevent it through education, advocacy, and accessible family resources. And whereas each of us has a role to play in addressing the problem of child abuse by learning how to prevent, recognize, and report it, as well as supporting prevention, education, and empowerment programs for children and youth. Therefore, we, the city of Yamhill, do hereby proclaim April 2026 to be Child Abuse Prevention Month in the city of Yamhill, Oregon. We reaffirm Yamhill, Oregon's commitment to creating a safer, healthier, and more thriving community for our children by taking proactive steps to help prevent child abuse. These include promoting awareness, encouraging citizens to learn about signs of child abuse and how to report suspected cases to the appropriate authorities, to investing in prevention, supporting programs and initiatives that provide family resources, parenting education, and early intervention services to at-risk families. 3, community involvement, participating in local events and promoting Wear Blue Fridays each week in April to show solidarity in preventing child abuse. 4, strengthening partnerships, collaborating with schools, local businesses, healthcare providers, community organizations, create a united front against child abuse. 5, empowering action, providing free resources and training for citizens on recognizing and addressing child abuse through Juliet's House and similar organizations. Community members can learn at www.julietshouse.org. Together, let us protect every child in our community and ensure their well-being by fostering a culture of safety, compassion, and accountability.
Thank you very much. For those of you who don't know, our Chief Graven actually spends a lot of time on his own volunteering with Juliet's House and has for years. Does a fantastic job for them, and they do a fantastic job for the kids. So it's our pleasure to make that proclamation, and thank you for reading it, Mr. Askey. Moving on from that, we have public comment, which we did adjust back for those that were wondering where that went tonight, just because of our presentation and some of those people being hourly paid staff. So with that, Yamhill encourages all citizens to comment on any city business. This is not a dialogue platform. Comments will be limited to only 3 minutes. For the future, if you request special accommodation or additional time, please contact City Hall in advance of the meeting. Tonight, Darcy, you had your name down, but you did not indicate you wanted to speak. Fantastic. Amy Brewer would like to speak. This could be a wonderful time for you to make your mention of your event.
Yeah, so, well, in light of some of the things that you were saying about the historical preservation, so the Beverly Cleary event is just that, trying to share about our historical pride in Beverly Cleary and then the historical houses in town and connect it with our parks department and then the little walking tour. So we have the event in the park this year. We'd like to have it June 6th. And was hoping that wasn't going to be a problem with any other community events. So that's what we were checking about. And just to let people know that we are going to try to do wagon rides again that go by Beverly Cleary's house. And we have a literacy fair with authors and illustrators in the park. So that's what we're hoping. We're hoping to grow it. Last year we had about 150 to 200 people along with the remote control car races, which has been kind of fun. And it still looks great, I think. Yeah. Good. Okay. But then we would chime in on any one of these grant opportunities with the historic tour thing. And we've actually done a lot of legwork on trying to develop signs and previously did a draft of a grant that we talked about a lot of these things. So that was under the YDA for the historical signs in the area, which we would have to go through all of you guys. So we're all in on that thing.
Fantastic. Thank you for the help with that.
Thank you.
That's gonna be exciting. I went to your event last year. It was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
Yeah. So next on the list, we have Amanda, did you care to speak tonight? You did not indicate you did. Rocky Lostley, would you like to speak, sir?
Next.
Yes, sir.
Once again, the issue that I'd like to draw to your attention has to do with disaster preparedness. And since you are the governing authority, if any kind of disaster takes place, there has to be a system in place, there has to be an organization in place, and you have to answer the question for yourself is, as the governing authority, do you feel comfortable with your preparations and being prepared to act in the leadership role of all of the myriad of things that you may be called upon to make decisions? And of course, if you're organized today and not trying to organize when a disaster happens, that makes all the difference in the world. And so some of the thoughts that you might want to think about in terms of disaster, something could happen tomorrow, could happen tonight. But wind, flood, earthquake, fire, hazardous material, water shortage, how can that happen? A terrorist invasion. The electrical grid goes down and it stays down for a period of time. We're looking at the potential for the mind to really get wrapped up pretty tight on what can we do, how prepared are we today, how prepared can we be in the next 30, 60, 90, 120 days, 6 months, year. But if we don't start today, if we're going to start, it will be later. And later might not work nearly as nice. So the thought is, would you please just think about this? Now, I know, and I believe most of these people understand, you cannot do all of the work yourself. And all of the information, the presentations that have already been made today, there is most definitely a need for volunteerism, a lot of volunteerism. And if I may, I would suggest that in some way, this governing authority make a very strong appeal in multiple ways to all of the citizens inside the city and anyone that's in the immediate area outside the city, and it really doesn't matter. They could be anywhere outside. If they're willing to contribute and their mind is in the right place, I think they would be a welcome candidate. It needs to be done, and the only way that all of this work can be achieved, because there's far more work to be done than what you all could do. And even if all of the people represented here, and each of them were like ×5, all of the work that needs to be done could not be accomplished. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Always. Some good thoughts. Emily, you've indicated that you're here, but not that you want to speak, double checking. And then Mr. Gilmore, it does say that you would like to speak this evening. Please come and take the podium if you would.
My daughter would like to speak too, but she arrived late. Is that possible?
Oh, 100%, absolutely. You can speak together or separately, however you prefer.
Can I get her name?
Oh,
Beth
yeah.
Jones.
Beth Jones.
All right, so I'm here in regards to the home at 630 East 3rd Street. I have sent over many emails going back and forth with members of the council. And I have also been going back and forth with my contractors that have been back and forth with members of the council as well. My contractors were just made aware as they went to proceed with permits to get started on our project. They went to go get the permits after already being in contact with you guys since November. Once they went to go try to get the permits, we were informed that there were SDC fees due for my project to be even able to get our permits started. Well, when I found this out, I thought that it was crazy because how are they telling me 2 months later that I owe more money for a project that they've already been trying to get information from you guys on how much it was going to cost them? So as of a good citizen, I like to follow the laws. And I would hope that other people would like to follow the laws as well. So with doing my research in this project, I have found out that there are quite a few different things in your guys' own statutes and laws that say, this is the exemption, and it's 31503 of 04 of Yamhill County Code. And it says alterations, expansions, or replacements of any existing dwelling unit where no additional dwelling units are created. I am taking an old 1972 manufactured home, trying to replace it to something new. I am not doing anything else to the property. The carport's staying, all of the original things are staying. So with this statute, and this is just one of the ones that I have put forth through the city council, that should be, I should not have to be paying these SDC fees. And I am trying to beautify the city by taking something out. And if you look up Oregon 223304, impact to the city's new system, I will have no additional impact to the city's new system. For one, it's only going to be me living in the home with my son part-time, and there was a whole entire family that lived in the home before. So there will be no additional harm to the system whatsoever. So that's another one of them. And the like-for-like replacement, that is an Oregon law. If you were replacing a same structure with a same structure, there should be no SDC fees followed that. And then there was one other one, but I don't remember it. But I am asking the city council to go over these laws and reevaluate this, because it sounds like it is something that I should not be being charged for. And waive the fees, because this is ridiculous. I'm trying to take an old house that I'm not even living in because I don't think it's livable in, and trying to replace it. And it's right across the street from the brand new neighborhood. So my house is the last house on the block to be replaced. And somehow I can't seem to do that if I have to pay another $10,000 in fees. So.
Yes, so not being a dialogue time, but I would love if, I don't know if you're going to be available afterwards or if you could leave your information.
We can.
And
That
I
would be-
also have emails that I have sent
I
in.
was curious, when did you send council emails?
I've sent 3 of them within the last month. Strictly to Kimberly Steele.
Oh, that's not council. That was it.
That's
That's our admin. No, I was just concerned because I was like,
I put to council too, so I don't know who it got.
I just want to say, I read all my emails and I was
You're like, where did it?
all news to me, so I am concerned with that.
If
But that makes a lot of sense now.
if you want me to forward over emails to you, I am very helpful.
Sure.
I can give you my contractor's information too, because they are also said that they're completely on board with me, because they've never seen this be a case like this.
Well, again, not a dialogue session, but you're very passionate and we want to attend to you. So I'm going to hand this back up to the table. I would ask that you just put your, if you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Putting your contact information, email and phone number.
Yeah.
And we will get that in front of the appropriate people.
Okay.
And someone will be in contact with you
And
very soon.
the laws and stuff that I've also stated in here are also in those emails, so they can look them up or whatever they
Sure,
want.
we can get those forwarded to us. So,
All we're asking is for the same thing the city expects from us. Having been a resident for over 35 years, I am painfully aware of what the city expects from us as citizens. We just want the same courtesy back from the city.
100%. I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same
I mean,
page, so
like,
we all have the
I
information.
already have my contractors doing the sidewalk and already had that put in there. That's not a problem. I don't have a problem with that, but as far as what I'm reading is the SDC should not be a thing. Sorry.
So, and then one thing that we should be careful with council is that because it's a land use, if it came before the planning commission, if you were to appeal that, it would come before
I
council.
don't know that we've gotten to that.
What I'm saying is more information to council at this point could potentially put people in a situation where they would have to recuse themselves from voting,
Okay.
right? So I just want to be careful that we don't get into that territory.
Yeah.
But we will get this definitely in front of the correct people immediately and somebody will be back to you very soon.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yep, fair enough.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then I did put the clipboard back up there. I assume there was nobody else that wanted to speak. There was a couple people that came in late, but you're welcome. Absolutely, sir.
Yeah, Scott Gilmore.
Scott Gilmore, come on up. I assume this is in relation to the same,
No,
okay.
it's actually something different.
Okay.
So I am a resident of 417 North Olive Street. It's my father's old home. I'm taking over and changing all that stuff there. And one of the big concerns I have on that street is that there is one speed limit sign coming in off of Pike Road. And as people have known throughout history on Yamhill's Olive Street, people just zoom down that road. I confronted a driver, like, I think 3 weeks ago, when we were walking our dogs, just came flying in and finally stopped at the stop sign. I'm surprised they even stopped. Hey, it's only 20 miles an hour in a resident zone, and just, he says, I don't see where the sign's at, like, you turned right on it, but, so my main question with that is, I wonder, is there a way of making either signs more available, like having another one like midway down both directions, or making it more visible? Like, I see some of the stop signs are lit up, and one sign coming in from Newburgh has it where it displays the speed limit with the speed of what they're actually doing on there. I've seen some of the signs before where they had like little flashing red lights saying, hey, you're going over the speed limit kind of thing. I don't know what are viable options. I don't know. I mean, this is my first time ever speaking in city council here, so I don't have no
You're doing
idea.
great.
But that's just been my big concern. Plus, because, I mean, we walk down the street, there's young kids from people's grandchildren, their children. My neighbor, Brian, he was the ex-fire chief, and he's got grandkids all the time, that they keep in the fences because they know people drive kind of fast through that road. So I just wondering if there's a way to have that more addressed and safety. I mean, I don't think speed bumps are an option because that's probably I think that's actually a county road for that regard, actually.
Yes, so I do believe that is a county road. But what we can do, again, not being a dialogue period, would you do the same thing that I asked, if you would leave your information there?
Okay.
We will get that in front of the correct people and somebody will be back in touch with you. We try not to answer questions here at the meeting because a lot of times, especially if it's a legal issue or who owns the thing, we don't want to give somebody the wrong information. So what we typically do is if we could get your information, we'll get back to you. Or at the very least, if it's a more general or broad question, we will answer at our next meeting.
Okay.
So this one we'll get back to you if you just leave that.
Okay.
So thank you for that.
For coming.
Yes. Yes, I actually want to say thank you to the people that actually came to speak, because it's really good that there's community involvement like that. That's amazing. Yes, Mr. Gilmore.
One quick question. Who are the correct people?
So again, not being a dialogue period, but we do have people that sort of handle the permitting sections of that. So that would be actually our city recorder. So if you called to City Hall with these questions, they should be able to assist you with it. If that does not happen, I am the mayor and you guys are always welcome to contact me. And my phone number is available, like my business card's in the lobby, and it will be provided by anybody that asks for it by calling. So, and I'm also currently the interim city administrator, so we can get some stuff done. I wear a lot of hats, but we'll figure it out for you, I promise. Not always the things people want to hear. Sometimes I'll be honest with you, but we will get it figured out. Was there anybody else that wanted to speak tonight? Public comment? Okay. A lot of dialogue. Was that done?
Your time is up there.
Fantastic. Do we need a motion? No. Okay, so that concludes the public comment period. Moving into the city administrator's report, which is going to be kind of a catch-all tonight, to be honest with you. A lot of what we were doing with staff in the last month has been sort of code enforcement, updating of things, planning of things with the Economic Development Committee, working on some tree projects, some other things. A couple of things that I did want to point out tonight is that this is just a little PSA moment from there. Code enforcement in the city of Yamhill is done on a complaint basis. So if you are not happy with something that your neighbor is doing, we highly, although we do have these fancy reports, Highly recommend contact your neighbor. Please ask them to stop whatever it is that's bothering you. You would be surprised. Sometimes they just say, okay. If they don't, and there is a code issue, we will go out and take care of that immediately by just coming into the city hall, filling out the form. This was a complaint that somebody had for, they say over 2 years, was handled by one phone call. So we're here to help, but please just check with your neighbor first if you can. And if that doesn't work or you're not comfortable with that, bring it to City Hall, and the staff up there has been amazing in getting these things taken care of in a timely fashion. So happy to help with that. Also, this might not land well with the Gilmores. I don't know the detail. If you are going to build something in the city of Yamhill, we are completely in support of your rights as a landowner, but we do have code and criteria. Before you build anything, please come and see City Hall. We have people that handle all the different codes and all the applications that you might need if you need it all. But it is less fun after your project is finished and not in compliance. So please come and see them. They have a lot of free information for you. And I would like to add in, there's not a great time for the economic development tonight because we were going to kind of lump them in with the report that we gave or that we received tonight about the historic district. But I would like to invite Jenny Morrison to speak at this point. If she had anything to add for the Economic Development Committee, something that I sit on too, and we have some sort of end of year planning updates here.
Yes, so thank you. Yes, so we have been working on one first project that we focused on this fall was design code recommendations that we researched, crafted, ran through, put forth. I guess City Council got it, Planning Commission got it, City Council. So we executed on that, and then the next step is for a technical assistance grant that Walt would need to apply for in order to be able to write up those recommendations and get them added to all of the overhaul of the codes that were done this past year. So it's just a little bit that it all kind of ties in with the historic look and feel of the community. And so we focused on that. We got that done. We have been talking about a tree project that Mayor Corrigan has been leading on putting trees in along the sidewalks in our downtown district here to add beauty and shade and walkability and just enhance things. And so we are fired up about that. And our next step for that is to meet with, hopefully at our next meeting in May, to have the folks in the Department of Forestry come with us and talk about the different types of trees that would make sense for growth patterns and structure and the whole shebang. So get some options for what would work. So we're gonna hopefully do a walking tour and review the options that could be down there. I'm pointing to, it's like along the main street here. Talk about that, talk about the budget for those, talk about what it would take to do the install, tie in Public Works, of course, for that, and then how to maintain those trees. But it's a very exciting project that we think will add a good, like, immediate improvement to downtown. And then we talked about our next steps for what we're going to be focusing on after that. So in the fall, so this discussion with the historic preservation and the, getting us on board with the council or certified local government option, that will be perfect timing for the committee. So we are at your service. And if there's anything else that City Council is interested in having us research or get involved in, we're here to do it.
Thank you so much.
Right. Thanks.
And that would conclude the city administrator's report with the Economic Development Committee edition. Moving on from that, we would be at the city recorder's report. Did you want to go into any details, or we all received your?
I listed a whole bunch.
You did, that's what I was thinking,
I and try to make them look pretty for you. The only thing I really had was concerns or notables, and I had the code enforcement and nuisance reporting. And then my main concern was a lot of people don't know where to start, and City Hall is where you start with that. Because if you're going to the council, sometimes it doesn't get to the people in City Hall, making phone calls, or if you're just, telling your neighbor, it doesn't get to the right places. So start there, because a lot of times it can be taken care of really quickly, and I hate to think it, when I talk to people that they've been suffering for 2 years with lights shining into their bedroom at night, when it could have been taken care of quickly
Yes.
in 2 minutes. And then, I've heard like over the last couple of meetings, a lot of people talking about water, so the, education regarding the water system operation and the water restriction type of things. I really think that we need to work on getting kind of a pamphlet together, so there's not misinformation about that, about how our water system works and how we.
If I can add into that, in the report, so Counselor Perrin and Jason with Public Works, we actually were just kind of brainstorming about just that to be ahead of any potential curtailments. We've had a very dry year.
Mhm.
So I think that we would like to have maybe a meeting at some point with some level with some people, maybe even a work session, where we could actually assist with that.
Right,
So.
right.
Would
So
that be like,
That's one thing,
push
because I
back
hear
for-
misinformation regarding that too, so. And I know that I've had people come in saying that they're willing to like go door to door, but I don't know that I want that if you want people to know what they're talking about when they're going door to door, so.
So especially with water in the city of Yamhill, it's very important to make sure that what we are telling folks is exactly what's true today.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
The misinformation seems to be a thing that,
complex, so
Not good.
too.
And then I had the caucus reminder, and then I actually just put it on the agenda as like, just that it is the council's, I think I put a copy of it in the packet. Council needs to direct the city recorder to hold the caucus, and it is an election year, and I know June, beginning of July is gonna get, so we're gonna have to be looking at dates soon, so council needs to be considering when they want to direct the recorder to work on holding that. And then update on the transient lodging tax that I talked about. They've reviewed our ordinance, and really there's one sentence that needs to be removed, and then we're good to go with the state, so.
that's something we could have addressed for next meeting, yeah. Great. That is a lot of good work. Thank you.
Yeah.
I assume that completed it,
That was
your
it.
report. So, financials, our financials were added late into our packet. Our financial manager said there was nothing that was standing out as unusual. On financials, I would like to say that, we actually, our budget came out of budget committee yesterday and is going to be referred on to city council for adoption. So we did that in 2 meetings. We should give a big, I think, thanks to our staff for getting all of that put together and our finance manager for presenting that. And a thank you to Bob Davis, who's not here for the first time ever, who sat as the chair this year for the budget committee. I think a lot of good work was done quickly, which is good. Moving along to the police department. Our chief is not able to be here tonight. I assume everybody went over his report. I just would like to say thank you to him. We have one officer, a full-time officer, that is going through some extensive training currently, which has put us in a situation where we have one full-time police officer, our chief, in town. And we have also worked with the county to bring in some sheriffs. If you've noticed more sheriff cars in town, that would be why. Some of them actually were reserve officers that volunteered to come to Yamhill, and they're actually carrying Yamhill site books. So that is a very exciting thing. Last month, with just having chief working, we had 61 calls. 7 reports were case reports, 1 arrest. Municipal court citations were 3, number of warnings 20. Circuit court citations 1. Citizen calls for service 33. Officer initiated contacts were 11. Chief worked 215 hours. FTE Livingston worked 185 hours. And our new SRO McCullen was at 13 hours. Chief put on 1,089 miles patrolling the town. And being that Livingston and McCullen are both in training, they did not drive. That would conclude the police report. Moving on to public works, sir.
Does anybody have any questions about my report?
I wanted to say that I noticed that your reports are really cool lately, very dialed in, very thorough, and yeah.
Thank you. Public Works have been rather busy. This kind of refers back to what Rocky was saying. We go completely black once a month. I think that's a pretty exceptional thing. And when I say that, we shut off all power and run off generator backup power. Not even the water plant is running off anything but the generated backup power. So we'll run an automated system completely by hand to get ready for any kind of emergencies that we might stumble into. Even with our wastewater lagoons, it's the same situation. We run everybody through protocol, utility 1, utility 2, for emergencies as far as shut off isolation points. We always go over our inventory once a month there again. And we've done an exceptional job as a city, as Public Works, getting every single distribution part we need on our system. And I hats off to everybody that's been involved with that. That's been pretty major. When I first came on 5 years ago, we had an emergency mainline break off of Highway 47, and there was no inventory at all. We had no parts. We actually had to go to LA Water Co-op. I just think that we've came so far with that it's exceptional. With staff itself, we've had people going into classes lately. Jeremy Brown, our utility 1, just got done and passed his small water certificate. So he has a system degree now. So that's pretty exceptional. So hats off to him for putting all those efforts in. At the water plant right now, when we talk about water, we talk about curtailments, just to kind of put minds at ease here. There are so many systems at play there. There's a streaming current monitor that actually measures that Turner Creek. So every second we're collecting data from that creek. Every minute we're collecting data from the water plant. So when we sit here and we talk about curtailment 1, level 1, 2, 3, and 4, that data is collected. It is not just a guesstimation like in years past, so that we can really look at those numbers and look at years and trending, and then we can situate what kind of curtailment you guys would be in as far as the general public. That's been a major role, getting the actual streaming current monitor in there, because we had water resources up there and we were just taking cubic feet, and just guesstimating pretty much how that worked. And since we had our automation group up there, we collect that data every single second to know that where we're at.
Will this be the first summer with that?
No, this is the second year with it. It's just more or less, it's gotten more honed in.
Yeah.
Our automation group had a really hard time wiring that to our MCC, to our PLC, just to kind of give us language. But everything's up to speed. If there's any more questions, feel free to ask, but that's what I had for tonight.
I just want to make a comment. For all of you that are here, it has been like night and day since Jason stepped up and took over Public Works. I am just, like I said, I can't say enough about you all. I mean, it's just great.
Thanks. Like I said, it's been a good team, throughout time. So, yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jason.
Yep.
And as always, when your report's complete, if you'd like to go join your family, or you can stay with us, you get to decide. Nobody will be mad. Moving on to council reports and mayor's report. I kind of just talking with city administrator stuff, but so I wanted to say, that we are very lucky to live in a town where we have so many good people that work for the city, for our police department, our office staff. they put in tons of hours and people wear hats that are absolutely not their job description. And the complaining is at a minimum, mostly. But so it's wonderful. And to have so many good volunteers, you know, I don't think that there's an opening at currently other than one budget committee opening. All of our committees are full. People are wanting to help. People that aren't on committees are volunteering to help. We have the community club, which is an amazing group that's sitting here tonight to just kind of hang out, which I love. So this town's very blessed to have all these people that really try very hard for it. So I think that's great. And that's all I wanted to say on that. So we have another report for council from Councilor Perrin.
So I have been talking with the city of Carlton in regards to the newsletter. The superintendent for the high school wanted them to be involved in addition to the city of Yamhill because the schools are joined. So it has, when the mayor and I met with them, we thought we were all on the same page. The mayor and I thought so anyway, as far as what we were looking for. Somewhere along the line, it has kind of deteriorated. I have been speaking with a counselor over in Carlton. She got the school board chair involved because the superintendent and the school board chair have a great relationship. So it has gone from initially wanting to promote the cities of Carlton and Yamhill in the school newsletter to promoting the projects that the kids are doing in the schools, not in the newsletter, but online. Totally different direction than what, like I say, what we were looking for in the first place. So the counselor in Carlton, the chair of the school board, and myself are waiting for the superintendent to come up with a date that we can meet and go over to see if this is something that both Carlton and Yamhill want to pursue, because it would be strictly online. So, which I'm a little disappointed. But
Well, you know, you put a lot of time into that. I know Councilor Askey's put time into it before. And sometimes a little thing in Yamhill turns into a big giant thing with too many bells and whistles.
Yeah.
And so I would encourage you to also potentially just, you know, back to the drawing board, and we could just type out a newsletter. And we could put it on, you know, our Facebook and print some copies.
yeah, and you know, the gal that I talked to, the counselor in Carlton, she was hoping that once it gets started, I'll put it that way, that it could evolve into hopefully promoting businesses and whatever in the city of Carlton and Yamhill, which would kind of be nice. I mean, I'm old school. I like having something that I can get in the mail and read and, you know, the whole bit. But either way, I'm gonna have the meeting with them, see what they say. And it's up to council because they're addressing it in council in Carlton. So it'll be up to both councils if this is something that we all want to pursue.
So then we will be expecting an update again next month, maybe?
Hopefully.
We'll be ready next month.
Well, cool. Is that, did you have more?
No.
So moving on from that, we have, so the consent agenda. So as it reads on here, this would be the minutes from 1/14/26. And we have added the Beverly Cleary event at Jane Heinrich Park for June 6th. I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the Beverly Cleary Jane Heinrich Park agenda added.
I second the motion.
And vote please.
And I.
SEI.
Karen, I.
Corrigan, I. Passes unanimously. You have your park.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to that. Unfinished business. Do we have unfinished business that needs to be added? Well, that's good. New business, we have an MOU, member of understanding, with YCTC Youth Baseball at Jane Heinrich Park. Did council have a chance to go over that or have any questions or concerns? It's basically allows the new baseball fields to be utilized by YCTC. They would be doing the repairs and maintenance for the most part, although Public Works has generously been, I mean, they maintain everything. If it grows, they'll clip. And then that lasts through, I think it was the end of July. And we would be able to renew that. It allows them for games, which is cool. They're playing games there this year instead of just practice. There will not be tournaments held this year, but we believe this will be the last year without tournaments. And so for that purpose, this MOU does expire at the end of their season, and we'll have another one for next year that includes what tournament play would look like. Anybody have any concerns, questions, comments? So I would entertain a motion to approve the MOU for YCTC Youth Baseball.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve the MOU for YCTC Youth Baseball at Jane Heinrich Park.
Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
And a vote, please.
Kendai.
SEI.
Karen, I.
Corrigan, I. Moving on. Thank you for that. That's awesome. I think it's great they're playing down there. Jason was saying how cool it was to watch the kids using that field that has not been used in years.
When was the last time before that?
20 years.
That's what I've been told.
Wow.
People said they never saw this park before and they'd lived here for 19 years until they mowed it. And just, what, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And now it's being used by kids that,
It's extremely popular.
there were teams that actually didn't have fields to play on last year. So, like some of the little kids were throwing the ball around on the lumps and bumps at Carlton before they fixed this. And the parents in YCTC, they all showed up and with their own money and tractors, fixed that field in a day.
Nice.
Our parks master plan people said it might take a few years. They did it in a day. Don't underestimate a Yamhillian with a tractor.
Can I chime in here?
Please.
So as far as gameplay, that's still a maybe.
Okay.
So right now, like potentially in order to actually facilitate a game, we may need like some temporary fencing, at least on the larger field. Because right now, like we don't have a dugout and there's really, so like having games and facilitating people, like we've churched them up a little bit and they're good for now until we can come up with a bigger plan moving forward. But we may need to like, and we've been working with Jason on this stuff, stake some temporary fencing as like a baseline until out to third base, out to first on that bigger field. And then we probably, anyhow, we're still working with the people that are facilitating the junior minor league to exactly know what they need. And junior minor for you guys is first and second.
Well, either way, I think it's great that you guys are down there. It's good to see the kids there they have a place to play. And thank you for all your hard work along with JR and the rest. So, yeah.
And I truly mean this, anything you need from us, just let us know at any
Awesome.
time, so.
Yeah, and we would say the same, historically, as you guys know, the baseball organization has been run by a small group of folks. And so we finally, for the first time since a lot of people can like actually, I haven't heard anyone say, oh yeah, the last time they had a full board with bylaws and these things. People can't tell me when that was. So, please let us know if you see anything or anything that could help us, please pass that on to us. We got a lot of people working really hard, for kids in this community. So anyone that would like to help or, learn more about the program, please reach out.
Amazing. Thank you for all your hard work too. That's super cool. Next thing on our list is to consider directing the city recorder to call a caucus for the purpose of nominating a city ticket. I mean, like our future kind of depends on that. So I would recommend that we do that. Did anybody on council or reporter, do we have any? My thought would be to direct her to schedule it. I think it's typically on a Saturday afternoon. There are time requirements set by charter and Oregon election law. And I would suggest that we allow her to designate the day and time that she sees fit.
And that's fine with me.
If anybody. You said it works for you? Yeah.
Do you have any, if you have anything you want me to shoot for, because I know someone said something before about not when county fair is happening, but I'll work on that.
I mean, I think it would be obvious to, avoid like derby days, and any big events. Right?
Or you could get a better turnout.
I mean, my God, the turnout for caucus would be epic at derby days, wouldn't it?
They wouldn't be paying attention quite so much to it,
No.
but
I don't want to do that counting.
The vote.
So do you need us to vote on that, or is that something we can just
If you could.
have on record?
That would be great.
I make a motion to direct the city recorder to call a caucus for the purpose of nominating a city ticket.
And a second, and a vote.
And I.
Ask you.
Karen and I.
Corey and I. That passes unanimously. We'll have a caucus this year. So for everybody that doesn't know, so Yamhill is one of the last towns, I think there's two, west of the Mississippi that does not have a primary election. We actually meet in the park and you get to face elect your sort of, candidates for the November election. So it's down and dirty because you literally hold up a card about who you're voting for. And I'll tell you is when you're running, it's a little rough. But it's cool. So if you have time and think about it, please show up to that and, vote for your favorite mayor. So with that done, we would be, not considering the special event because we already passed that in our consent agenda. Information announcements for the good of the order. So just so you know, PGE, has an increase and income qualification discount program. Information is on our website. And for council, SEI filing is due by the 15th, which is coming right up, which is with the Government Ethics Commission to make sure that,
We're in compliance.
yeah, we're in compliance with our financials, so we're not benefiting. And I can promise you, it's
Is that an increase
not
in
financially.
price?
Say what?
The PG increase and income qualification. So I believe that there is an increase and there is also an income qualification discount program that's announced on the website. Both, yes. So an increase. I don't remember the percentage that they went up, but they keep doing that.
5%.
Keep doing.
Yeah.
Depending.
No one's.
Again, thank you, Community Club Beverly Cleary's. And I don't know if Jenny Morrison's still back there behind there, but thank you EDC for showing up. And Gilmore's, we'll get back to you. Yes.
I just was staying behind to give you my information and get your email so I can email you over
Sweet.
the emails that I already written.
We'll get on that right away as soon as I get a motion to adjourn.
Just one second. On the SEIs, just so if you guys have all forgotten, because I already did mine, it takes 5 minutes.
Yeah.
10 at the very most.
And they changed their security question apparently this year. Their security question was tree. I had to call them and say that is not a question.
What did they say?
They said, just type in the word tree.
Get one.
Yeah, this year they updated. So at any rate, if there's nothing else, we'll get a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
A second.